Okay, let's dive right into this explainer because today we're unpacking a genuinely chilling mystery. We're talking about a brilliant, high profile politician found dead and the completely bizarre secret he confessed to just months before it happened. It's this classic, tragic tug of war between earthly ambition and the absolute boundless pull of human imagination, all based on H.G. Wells' haunting story, The Door in the Wall. So picture this. Cabinet Minister Lionel Wallace, a guy who was seemingly destined for the absolute highest levels of political office, is found dead in a railway extension shaft. He was discovered behind this rough construction hoarding that had an unfastened door. And, by all typical daylight standards, it looked exactly like a tragic, careless accident, just a terrible misstep in the dark. But if we want to figure out what really went down here, we've got to look way past the surface. We essentially have to act as the jury today and investigate the clues Wallace left with his childhood friend, a man named Redmond. Clues about this profound, deeply hidden secret that haunted his entire life. We have to ask ourselves, did he step into a magical portal or just a deadly construction pit? And this obsession didn't just pop out of nowhere on the night he died. If we trace it back, it actually started way back when he was 5 years old, when he first discovered this mysterious green door set in a white wall. He encountered it again at age 8, then at 17, missed 3 agonizing chances in adulthood, and, finally met his fate at the excavation shaft. From that first moment on, his life was basically split right down the middle into 2 wildly different realities. On one hand, you had the gray world, this dreary, super rigid reality of 19th century London, which for him meant a stern father, totally dull streets, and really harsh discipline. But then, on the other hand, there was the enchanted garden behind that green door. This delightfully magical, luminous place filled with purring spotted panthers, friendly capuchin monkeys, just a world of absolute pure joy. When 5-year-old Wallace actually pushed through that green door for the very first time, he described walking into this wildly exhilarating, mellower reality. He said he was instantly transformed into a glad and wonder-happy little boy. In this world, there was a grave, gentle woman who showed him a living, moving book of his own life. But then, she gently turned the page and abruptly pushed him right back out into the cold, damp London streets. And the aftermath of that first little adventure? Oh man, it was absolutely brutal. He was found sobbing by a policeman and literally marched home in disgrace. And instead of comforting him, his super strict father actually thrashed him for telling lies. They even confiscated his fairy tale books for being too imaginative. Basically, society ruthlessly punished his imagination, which drove his longing for that green door into a really deep, shameful, and private secret. All right, which brings us to the next chapter of his life, the burden of worldly success. So as Wallace grows up, he's dealing with this massive, escalating internal war. On one side, he's got all this societal ambition, the desperate need to keep perfect punctuality records, win these prestigious Oxford scholarships, and climb the political ladder. But on the other side, the call of the door. He actually spots it again at age 8 while playing a game on the way to school, and then again at 17 from a rushing cab. But both times, ambition wins out. He just rushes right past it. He basically tricks himself into thinking his career is worth the sacrifice. He actually told his friend Redmond, "I saw another door opening, the door of my career." He actively chose to trade the breathtaking magic of that garden for the prestige of Parliament. A success that, spoiler alert, he later grows to bitterly resent, calling it vulgar, tawdry, and just entirely irksome. Actually, pause for a second here. I want you to think about this in the context of your own life. What is the green door that you sacrifice on the altar of daily productivity? Honestly, how often do we all walk past our true passions, our creative callings, or even just moments of peaceful escape, purely to hit a deadline or secure promotion? It's a pretty haunting parallel when you think about it.
And that leads us directly into 3 missed opportunities.
Let's fast forward a bit. Wallace is now in his late 30s. He is a wildly successful, heavily envied cabinet minister, but internally, he is deeply burned out and profoundly sad. And it's exactly at this breaking point that the universe decides to test him one last time. In his final year alive, as literally all the color drains from his professional life, the mystical green door reappears to him exactly 3 times. And the timing? literally impossible. First, he's rushing to a critical vote that could literally save the government. Second, he's hurrying to his stern, dying father's bedside for a final farewell. And third, he's walking with a really powerful political ally to secure his ultimate cabinet position. In every single instance, the imperative claims of life and all this petty worldliness forced him to walk right past his salvation. He doesn't turn the handle, not once. The sheer, crushing weight of all this accumulated regret, it completely shatters the guy. He confesses to Redmond, saying, "Thrice I have had my chance, thrice, and I have rejected it, Redmond, and it has gone." He just totally stops working. He starts wandering the dark London streets at night, audibly lamenting and crying out for the garden he truly believes he's lost forever.
So, the final question remains, portal or tragic delusion?
This whole tragic downward spiral brings us right back to the core mystery from the night he died. On his walk home from Parliament, Wallace encounters a rough hoarding protecting a deep railway extension shaft. It had this small doorway, meant for workmen, which someone had mistakenly left unfastened. He stepped through it, and he fell to his death.
So we've got to look at the facts and weigh the two main theories here. On one hand, we have the hallucination theory. Was he simply this overworked, immensely stressed politician who fell victim to a devastating mental delusion and a careless construction trap? Or do we lean into the abnormal gift theory, that this man of incredible vision actually used a secret passage to finally escape to a beautiful, immortal world? I mean, you really have to wonder, did the pale electric lights near the train station just cheat the rough wood planking into looking like a white wall? Did his desperate, longing, totally sleep-deprived mind simply hallucinate his magical green door over a dirty, dangerous construction site? But then, his friend Redmond makes this incredibly chilling final observation that forces us to question the very nature of reality for dreamers. He says, by our daylight standard, he walked out of security into darkness, danger, and death. But did he see like that? It really suggests that, for a man of true imagination, the physical reality right in front of us might not actually be the ultimate truth. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on. Did Lionel Wallace step blindly into a deadly pit, or did he finally make it home to the enchanted garden and his waiting playmates? Next time you're walking around, look closely at the walls you passed today, and let me know what you believe really happened in the end.